Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to build out your fuselage. So we're going to pop one of these motor sticks out of the motor stick sheet. Motor stick. You can remove little burrs here. It doesn't make a huge difference because they're of minimal weight, but it makes you feel a little better about it when you do that. And go ahead and pop a tail boom out while you're at it. And set the rest aside. Okay, so we have motor stick and we have tail boom. We're going to go ahead and get out a nose bearing here. Attempt to get out a nose bearing. There we go. And you have several options with this. Typically, I think most of you are just going to mount this guy directly to the motor stick like that. You have some other options there, but that's what I'm going to suggest. Now, like I said, in the production kits, we're going to try to supply you with, not with a piece of wire, but with actual propeller shafts and rear hooks. But I'm sliding in the piece of wire that I've got. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this assembly like this, and we're going to put some glue up here. We're going to set the front of the motor stick down on here like this, like that, and then we're going to turn this up, and we want to make sure that we're roughly lined up, or maybe bent a little bit. I'm slipping a little bit to the left. I don't know if you can see that slight inclination to the left. Now, I need to get some CA accelerator so I can speed this along, but I think it's hardened on there now. So, the reason I mentioned there are other ways is you could take some of the excess from your tail boom sheet around here, and you could glue a little piece underneath here so that you would be able to space the bearing out from the motor stick. So since this glue is still soft, I'm going to do that so you can see the other way to do it, which is I've got some excess right here, so I'm just going to snip this excess out like that. I'm going to take a piece of it and I'm going to glue that onto my motor stick like so. Like this. See? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my bearing back on there. Now, I'm just going to set this on here. You still would want to align it with the using that piece of your wire prop shaft. I have done this enough that I can eyeball it and know, it's trying to stick to me instead of the wood. We'll fix that in a minute. I can tell that I've got enough side thrust to get the job done. So there we go. Now, at this point, we're going to get some of our spider wire binding thread out, there we go. And so I'm going to take some of this, try to get in an area of wet glue. Not really succeeding, but that's okay. My goal here is just to put enough wraps on this, so you see what I'm doing here, to secure this guy firmly in place. And if you notice, I'm kind of angling these wraps back a little bit. And that's because I'm an OCD person who likes to have pretty airplanes. Not really, but there are certain things that I kind of like. And so what I'm trying to do basically is to to set this up so that I can kind of do a back cut in the motor stick. That's just to make it look good. I have also wrapped this far more than is necessary, because this is like enough thread to withstand about 5 times the tension that this airplane really is designed to handle. You'd probably pick up a bowling ball with, actually no, you could pick up a bowling ball with a single strand of this stuff. That's how strong it is. Alright, so since I've got some out here that's not bound, I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm going to just back cut it a little bit. And that is ordinarily a lot of folks do that for prop clearance. I'm just doing it because I think it kind of looks a little better. You know, is what it is. So the next thing is I'm going to go get a pair of pliers and we're going to bend a rear hook for this. Okay, so if you have round nose pliers, they're great for part of this. If not, you can just use regular pliers. And I'm going to actually show you doing this with regular pliers. Let me get something up here so you have a white background. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece of wire and I'm going to do a little bend in it, like that. Now I'm going to come up here, and there will be drawings in your part sheets. So I'm going to take this and bend it back around like so. So now you have that shape. And then turn it like that and bend it. So now I have this shape right here. Now, at this point I'm going to take my motor stick and I'm going to measure along, there we go, like that. And so I've got my fingernail on that. So you can see like so. So I'm going to bend this up. Just like that. And now I'm going to do one last bend. I angle this down. Not straight up and down, but I kind of unbend it a little. So like that. And now I'm going to take a set of wire cutters. Actually, no, I'm going to bend that straight down because it is easier to do it this way. So, like that. Now, I'm going to snip it off like that. So you end up with this shape. Now, come over here on your motor stick. So you're going to slide this over like that, and then that way you can press this down into the top of the motor stick. It comes down like that. Now, very important, Pennyplane rules dictate that the distance between here and here, so the front of the bearing to the apex of the hook back here, has to be no more than 10 inches. So I am setting at a little over 9 and 7/8. So I'm good to go. So I'm going to take some more of my spider wire here that I have successfully tangled up a little, because, you know, that's what we do. And I'm just going to hit this guy, a little bit of that. And I'm just making about 3 wraps on there, so I don't know, something like that. Wipe it down with a little bit of glue to secure all my binding. it loose. And now I've got my handle into it. Now, we're going to set this. So the front of my bearing is right here. I'm going to take my, I want to slide my motor stick so it's kind of pressed up against this ruler. And I want to have my bearing flush with the end. Now, I want the end of this stick over here to extend no more than the 18.5 inch mark. Now that means, if you look at this, you can see I have quite a bit of overlap here. So I'm going to snip my my tail boom. So I've only got, we'll call that half an inch of overlap. So just like that. I'm going to hold this up to the camera so you can see that amount of overlap. So again, we're going to set this back in place. I'm flush with the end of the ruler over here. I'm going to put in some glue. And now, I'm going to line this back up at the 18.5 inch mark over on this end. I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to kick the tip of the boom here away from the ruler a little bit, and I'll show you how much in just a second. Now that's hardened. I do have this also sticking up in the air a little bit, so that gives me some left rudder. So let me show you the amount by which I kicked the tail boom up. It is that much, like that. And that just ensures that you're pretty good on flight trim. I'll also show you in that dimension. That's how much I kicked it in for left rudder. And with that, you have a pennyplane fuselage. We'll attach the posts at the very end of this build.